It is one of the most famous moments in the Bible. Peter stands beside a fire. Jesus is on trial, and 3 times Peter says he does not know him. Then a rooster crows. But why a rooster? Why did Jesus connect Peter's greatest failure to that particular sound? And why does John's Gospel later bring Peter back to another fire, where Jesus asks him 3 questions? Because the rooster was not the end of Peter's story. It marked the moment everything Peter believed about himself finally broke apart. And strangely, that was exactly where his restoration began. Peter's failure did not begin in the courtyard. It began earlier that night. Jesus and his disciples had shared their final meal together, and Jesus turned to Peter with a warning. He told him that a severe test was coming. Then Jesus said something Peter probably did not fully understand at the time. "I have prayed for you, that your faith may not fail, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers." Notice what Jesus says, not "if you return," but "when you return." Before Peter failed, Jesus was already speaking about what would happen after the failure. Peter, however, seems to hear only the warning, and as Peter so often does, he responds with confidence. "Lord, I am ready to go with you both to prison and to death." Peter believes he knows himself. He believes his loyalty is stronger than fear. He believes that even if everyone else collapses, he will remain standing. Then Jesus tells him, "Before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me." Imagine hearing that from Jesus. Peter had followed him for years. He had left his fishing nets. He had walked beside him. He had watched miracles. He had heard teachings that changed everything he thought he knew about God. And now Jesus tells him, "Before this night is over, you will say you do not even know me." Peter cannot imagine it, but only a few hours later, everything changes. Jesus is arrested. The disciples scatter, and Peter follows from a distance. That detail matters. Peter does not completely run away, but he does not stay close either. He follows Jesus from a distance, close enough to know what is happening, far enough to protect himself. Eventually, Peter enters the courtyard of the high priest. It is cold. Servants and guards have gathered around a charcoal fire to keep warm. Peter stands with them, and then someone recognizes him. A servant girl looks at Peter and connects him with Jesus. Peter denies it. "I do not know what you are talking about." That is the first denial. Then another accusation comes. Again, Peter denies knowing Jesus. The pressure increases. People begin to notice his accent. He sounds like someone from Galilee. Now Peter cannot simply disappear into the crowd. Even the way he speaks is giving him away. And the third accusation comes. This time Peter goes further. He insists that he does not know the man. And immediately, the rooster crows. The sound itself is ordinary. That is what makes the moment so powerful. A rooster crowing near dawn would not normally cause anyone to stop and think. It was simply part of life. But for Peter, that ordinary sound suddenly carries the full weight of Jesus' words. Jesus had told him this would happen. Peter had insisted it never would. And now the sound arrives. Exactly when Jesus said it would. Luke gives us another detail. A detail that makes the scene even more painful. After Peter's third denial, Jesus turns and looks at him. No speech, no public rebuke, no accusation, just a look. Peter remembers what Jesus said, and he walks away, weeping bitterly. Think about what Peter has just discovered. A few hours earlier, he believed he was the disciple who would never abandon Jesus. Now he has become the man who denied him 3 times. Peter did not simply fail Jesus. His confidence in himself collapsed. The image he had built of himself could no longer survive reality. He thought he was fearless. He discovered he was afraid. He thought he was stronger than the others. He discovered he was capable of doing exactly what he had promised never to do. And this is one of the reasons Peter's story matters so much. Because failure often reveals things about us that success allows us to ignore. As long as Peter was standing beside Jesus in front of the crowds, Courage was easy to claim. But in the courtyard, surrounded by strangers, with Jesus under arrest, Peter discovered the limits of his own strength. And then the rooster crowed. But here is what makes the story so remarkable. Jesus had already spoken about Peter's return before Peter ever fell. Remember his words. When you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. Jesus knew Peter would fail, and Jesus also knew the failure would not be the end of him. That does not make the denial less serious. Peter really did deny Jesus. He really did break under pressure. He really did walk away in tears. But Jesus had already looked beyond the courtyard, and John shows us what happens next. After the crucifixion, Jesus rises from the dead. Peter sees him alive. But something still seems unresolved. Peter has seen the risen Jesus. Yet John's Gospel has not given us a conversation about the three denials. There is still a charcoal fire in Peter's memory. There is still a rooster in the story. There are still 3 moments Peter cannot undo. Then John chapter 21 takes us to the shore of the Sea of Galilee. Peter and several disciples have been fishing through the night. They catch nothing. At dawn, Jesus appears on the shore. At first, the disciples do not recognize him. Jesus tells them where to cast the net. Suddenly, they catch so many fish that the scene begins to feel strangely familiar. Peter realizes who is standing on the shore. It is Jesus. And when the disciples reach land, John gives us a very specific detail. Jesus has prepared a charcoal fire. Fish is cooking, bread is waiting, a charcoal fire. That detail would be easy to miss, but John had already mentioned a charcoal fire once before, the night Peter denied Jesus. Peter had stood beside a charcoal fire in the high priest's courtyard. Now, after the resurrection, he stands beside another charcoal fire with Jesus. The setting is different. The first fire was surrounded by fear. The second is surrounded by breakfast. The first happened in darkness. The second happens as morning arrives. At the first fire, Peter is questioned about Jesus. At the second, Jesus questions Peter. And then Jesus asks, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter answers, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus tells him, "Feed my lambs." Then Jesus asks again, "Do you love me?" Peter answers again. Jesus says, "Take care of my sheep." And then, a third time, Jesus asks, "Do you love me?" 3 questions, after 3 denials. John tells us that Peter is hurt because Jesus asks him the 3rd time. And Peter finally says, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." That answer is very different from the Peter we saw earlier. Before the denial, Peter's confidence was in himself. "I am ready. I will go with you. I will not fall away." Peter was certain about Peter. But now he says, "Lord, you know." Something has changed. Peter is no longer trying to prove his loyalty by making bigger promises. He is no longer arguing that he is stronger than everyone else. He places the truth of his heart in the hands of Jesus. "You know." And Jesus does not humiliate him. He does not say, "Remember what you did?" He does not make Peter repeat the details of the courtyard. Instead, Jesus gives him responsibility. "Feed my sheep." That is restoration. Jesus does not merely forgive Peter privately. He calls him forward again. The disciple who failed is still given work to do. The man who denied Jesus is still entrusted with caring for people who belong to Jesus. And this changes the meaning of the entire story. Peter's failure was real, but it was not final. The rooster announced his collapse, but it did not announce the end of his calling. And now we can return to the question, why a rooster? The Bible does not give us one sentence saying, "This is the symbolic meaning of the rooster," so we should be careful not to invent one. But the way the story is written allows us to see why the image is so powerful. First, the rooster gave Peter a sound he could not ignore. Jesus could simply have said, "You will deny me before morning." But instead, he connected the prophecy to something Peter would actually hear. And when the rooster crowed, Peter remembered. An ordinary sound became attached to an unforgettable moment. Second, the rooster crows as night is giving way to morning. And that fits Peter's story in a remarkable way. His darkest moment happens near the end of the night. But darkness does not last. Morning comes. And Peter's story continues. The same man who walked away from the courtyard weeping would later stand publicly and speak about Jesus with a courage he clearly did not possess that night. Peter changed, but not because he discovered that he had secretly been strong all along. He changed because his confidence moved away from himself. Failure taught Peter something his confidence could not teach him. He needed grace. And there is one more connection that may be even more important than the rooster. The fire. John gives us two charcoal fires, one in the courtyard, one on the shore. At the first fire, Peter denies. At the second, Peter is restored. 3 denials in the night, 3 questions in the morning. That contrast is difficult to miss, and it tells us something important about how Jesus deals with failure. Jesus does not pretend the courtyard never happened. He does not erase Peter's memory. Instead, he meets Peter again, not to destroy him with his failure, but to lead him through it. The memory that once carried shame is now placed beside a new memory. The smell of charcoal no longer belongs only to denial. Now it also belongs to breakfast with the risen Jesus, to forgiveness, to restoration, to calling. And maybe that is where Peter's story becomes our story. Most people have memories they wish they could erase, something they said, something they did, a moment of fear, a decision they regret, a time when they discovered they were not the person they believed themselves to be. And sometimes we imagine that the only way to move forward is to forget it, to avoid it, to never think about it again. But Peter's story shows us something different. Jesus can meet a person in the place of failure without leaving them trapped there. He can take what once meant only shame and connect it to grace. That does not mean the failure becomes good. Peter's denial was still wrong. But failure did not get the final word. Jesus did. And notice something else. Jesus did not restore Peter so Peter could simply feel better about himself. He restored Peter for a purpose. Feed my sheep. Grace leads somewhere. Peter receives mercy, and then he is told to care for others. That connects all the way back to what Jesus had said before the failure. When you have turned back, strengthen your brothers. Before the denial. Jesus already knew what restored Peter would become. The man who discovered his own weakness would eventually strengthen other people. And perhaps that is exactly why Peter could later speak so powerfully about grace. He had lived it. He knew what it felt like to make a promise and fail. He knew what it felt like to be ashamed of himself. And he knew what it felt like for Jesus to come back, not with rejection, but with a question. Do you love me? Maybe that is what someone watching this needs to hear. Your worst failure may reveal something true about you, but it does not automatically tell you what God will do with you next. Peter's failure revealed his fear. It revealed his pride. It revealed how much confidence he had placed in himself, but it did not cancel the words Jesus had already spoken. When you have turned back. Jesus knew both parts of Peter's story, the falling and the returning. And if you only remember the rooster, you miss half the story. Because the rooster crowed in the courtyard, but Jesus was waiting on the shore. One fire held Peter's denial, the other held his restoration. One night showed him how weak he really was. One morning showed him how deep grace really is. And the Peter who came out of those 2 moments was different from the Peter who entered them. Not perfect, not fearless, but changed. So the next time you hear the story of Peter denying Jesus, do not stop when the rooster crows. Keep reading. Follow Peter all the way to the second fire. Because Christianity is not only the story of people who fail, it is the story of what Jesus can do with people after they fail. The rooster was not the end of Peter's story. It was the moment Peter finally discovered that his own strength could not save him. And on the shore, Jesus showed him that failure did not have to define him forever. If this helped you see Peter's story differently, tell me in the comments. Which moment stays with you most? The rooster, the look across the courtyard, or the second fire on the shore? And if you want more videos where we slow down familiar Bible stories, notice the details we usually read past and explain them simply, subscribe. We will keep opening the Bible together, one story at a time.